Okay, welcoming you to Gentle Yoga. I want to start off by showing you what somebody sent me in the mail. A whole bunch of little yoga figures, and they're very inspiring. I have them on my window ledge, and so I see them every day. And actually, with the whole bunch of them all grouped together, it really makes me think of you guys. Like, what are we going to do with the Waldenstrom's community today? And so I have this little reminder for my own practice, and also that I'm part of a larger community. So I'm so grateful for that. Today is Saturday, and as such, I'm in a Saturday kind of mood, which might mean I'm going to be a little bit slower. I'm going to honor my energy, honor my boundaries. I'm reminded of the Aesop's fable that slow and steady wins the race. The example of the hare and the tortoise. And that actually, there is a Yoga Sutra that kind of conveys a similar message, that practice becomes firmly grounded when it's attended to for a long time without break, with earnestness, with love and respect. So consistent effort and determination. It's really inspiring that actually Duke University did a research study to try and prove whether Aesop's fable was right in the world of animals. Does the tortoise actually win the race? If you're familiar with the fable, there's a race. The bunny and the turtle start out. The bunny takes off, and he has these big streaks of energy, and then he gets so confident he takes a nap, and this tortoise just keeps going. Well, anyway, in the research study, they actually showed that if you're looking at the lifetime of an animal, that indeed the turtle is faster just because it just keeps making steady progress. So today's class, we're going to do everything with this in mind. We're going to do everything gradually and steadily and slowly. So we're going to really break down poses, and we're going to have a lot of fun, I hope, on a Saturday. So thanks for being here. We're going to start in a seated posture on the ground, if that is doable for you. So I'm going to transition to a seated posture on the ground. And this is a transition that we can make mindfully. So I'm going to take my time, and I might use a piece of furniture to kind of hold on to, and maybe just gently bring one knee down, other knee down, and just find a comfortable posture. Maybe you want to sit up on a pillow or a block. Maybe you want to support yourself with your hands behind you. That looks good, Marty. I've got a blanket for later. So you might want to grab your water, anything you might need. And welcoming you, Gordon. So glad to see you. So let's go ahead and just take a moment to get into that posture, whatever it might look like for you. You could stay seated on a couch or a chair if that is better for you. Again, we're taking it slow and steady. The slow and steady wins the race. And I might just settle in by closing my eyes or softening my gaze down into the earth, and just letting my belly relax. And taking some easy breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Easy breaths in and out. You're welcome here in whatever state of being you're in. You could be a total mess, and it would be okay with me. I'm going to start the class with 3 ohms, and you're welcome to join or just listen. Om. Taking a moment to really feel that earth supporting you, that firm ground underneath. Maybe you want to sit up a little bit taller. Feel the expansiveness of the chest. Allow the shoulders to relax. And let's take 3 breaths together. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. And then I'm just going to tilt my head from side to side. Right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale, center, left ear, left shoulder. So just bringing a little bit of awareness to my upper neck, upper shoulders. Making any other movements that would feel good there. And then I will make another transition to my hands and my knees, if this is something that feels good for me. If you're somebody with tender wrists or tender knees, you can pad up with a blanket. So I'm coming to my hands and knees, and we won't be here too long. Right? If this is not an option for you, you could stand and place the hands against a wall. But I want to bring a little bit of movement into my whole body. So I'm making a circle with my whole body. The wrists are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips. And I'm just waking up some of my joints, circling the whole body, and now changing directions. That's good. You got to do you. And then I'll come back to neutral. I'm just going to tuck the toes under. Walk my fingertips back a little bit. So I'm getting a really big toe stretch. The toes are tucked underneath to whatever degree feels good to you. If this feels too intense, you can walk yourself forward. And I'm coming into my lion's breath. So I'm just going to open my mouth a little bit and stick my tongue out a little bit and just make a very soft ha sound. I might open my mouth a little bit wider, stick my tongue out a little bit farther. Make a little bit more of a sound. And then I might do one more with as much oomph as I like. And then I'll crawl back onto my hands and knees and just stretch that right leg out with the toe on the earth. I'm going to rock forward and rock back, so I'm getting a little stretch here. My toes are getting a stretch. I'm getting a little bit of strengthening in my upper body by keeping my body lifted. And then I'm going to lift my right heel up. So I've got both hands on the earth. My left knee is bent and I'm lifting my right leg up. And I'm just going to pull my belly up and in. And then switch sides. So left leg long. You got it. Rock forward, rock back. I'm just on my hands and knees here, stretching my left leg. And then I'll lift my left leg up, pull the belly up and in, take a breath in. And then let's come down into a child's pose. So for me, I love to separate my knees, sink back towards my heels as far as feels good to you in your knees. And then you're going to do whatever feels good with the arms. Maybe I'll bring my head onto a pillow or block, so bringing the floor up to me, or maybe my head can reach the floor. So I'm not going to contort myself into anything uncomfortable with this, but I'd like to get a little bit of time in this very protected pose. All of my vulnerable bits are safe and protected here, and I can just breathe into that upper back, middle back, lower back a couple times. And when you're ready, you can come out of it. Of course, stay as long as you like. I'm going to reset my knees, crawl my way towards my little piece of furniture here, walk myself up, and step 1 foot under, come to stand. I'm not in any hurry to come to stand. I might take a little sip of water, maybe glimpse out the window, and coming to a standing posture. All right. Starting with the foundation of the feet. What are the feet up to? I'm going to take a peek down, and I might lift my toes, or some of my toes, or none of my toes, just maybe lifting my toes with my mind, spreading them, digging them back down, wiggling the toes in whatever manner is possible. And then what I'll do is I'll maybe bring my arms out to the sides, and I'm just going to bend let's bend the right knee and lift the right heel up off the earth, so my toe's still on the ground. And then I'll switch sides, lifting the left heel, left knee is bent. So I'm kind of massaging the bottom of the foot here, great for peripheral neuropathy. I'm just moving my weight from side to side without lifting the leg, right? Hold on to something if you need it. You got it. And then I'll come back to neutral, float my arms down. Let's see how it would feel to come up onto the tiptoes and just take a really small little gentle float up and down. The first one really small. A gentle float up and down. Maybe you want to gaze somewhere far away and breathe in, breathe out, your own pace. Lifting, grounding. Arms can lift up. Maybe one hand holds on to a chair. Right? Let's take a couple more of these. Gradual tiptoe floats. Beautiful. Now I'm going to sink down into my delicious chair. That's bending my knees, bringing my hips back, pulling my belly towards my spine. And today I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides. See how that would feel. Do something different. Standing up and giving yourself a hug. One arm on top, drop the head down. Inhale, open arms, sink down into your sweet chair. And lift up, opposite arm on top, give yourself a hug. Opening, sinking down, big breath. Exhale, opposite arm on top, give yourself a hug. And last one, inhale, open, sink down. Exhale, give yourself a really big hug, tuck that chin. And then release the arms down, let them dangle a little bit. Maybe you want to roll the shoulders up, back, and down. All right. I'm going to gradually work towards our tuning fork pose, which is standing on one leg with the arms lifted overhead. So I'm going to do what we did before. I'm just going to lift my right heel up off the earth. The toe is still there, the knee is bent, and I'm going to lift my arms straight out in front and then release down. Opposite leg lift, just the knee bent, arms out in front, and release. Okay, and I'm just gradually lifting my arms a little bit higher. And I might feel safe just for a millisecond lifting the leg up a little bit and bringing it back down. So it's a little balance challenge while our legs are still fresh. Really nice, guys. Maybe you want to hold the arms overhead, leg lifted, and release. You can always hold on to something if need be. Awesome. Yeah, there you go. Meet your edge. And I'm just going to take one more on each side. Slow and steady. It's beautiful, Andrew. Wins the race. All right. Let's go ahead and step the right foot forward and the left foot back at a shorter stance than you normally would do for Warrior One. So, normally I'm in this, I'm just way deep into my beautiful Warrior One. I'm actually going to shorten it and just bend my right knee a little bit and see how that feels. And I might just take my hands to heart center, squeeze that left glute muscle a few times. So I'm really feeling that. What muscles are involved in my Warrior One? Can I root down through my feet and just feel the essence of this shape? Very good. I'm going to step the left foot forward and the right foot back. Shorter stance than you normally would do for a Warrior One. So we want to get into this gradually and, bring the muscles into these shapes gradually. Bending into that left knee. The right leg is strong. We're squeezing that right glute a few times. Like if I were in the room with you, I could see your right glute muscle moving. Yeah, that's great, Jody. And then I'll step it up. Now I'm going to lengthen my stance a little bit more, stepping that left foot back, bending into the right leg. Right, so right knee is bent, squeeze that left glute muscle. Now the hands could either come to heart center, or maybe I would like to lift both arms up, or one arm up. See what feels best. Make that foundation first, and then decide about the arms. That's good, Anne. Beautiful. And then I'm releasing my arms down, stepping that left foot forward, bringing the right foot back, a little longer stance than the first Warrior One. Okay, so squeezing that right glute muscle, that left knee is bent. Do what feels good to you with the arms. Find your steady breath, moving in, out. Good, and then we're releasing and we're stepping that right foot forward, and I'm going to come into a little flow I like to call earth to heavens and everything in between. So I'm going to sink back down into my chair pose. And you could have the feet together, you could have the feet a little bit apart. If they're together, it might be a little more challenging. That's right, Karen. Hands at heart center. And then I'm going to straighten my knees, lift my arms up as far as feels okay to me. And I'm going to shift my hips to the right. Come back to center, shift my hips to the left. Come back to center, sink down into the earth. Inhale, lift the arms, lift into the heavens. Exhale to the side. This is everything in between heaven and earth. And we'll do one more like that, sinking down, lifting up. Side bending maybe a little bit farther. Good. And then let's relax the arms down. And yes, I probably should have done a little bit of side bending first. So let's actually address that now. I'm going to take a wider stance and gradually bring that right arm up my right rib, leaning over to the left side. Switch sides, left hand up the left rib cage. Good. Feel the strength in the legs. This time I'm going to bring my right arm out to the right. As far as feels good to me, let the left arm dangle. You got it, Judith. Come on back. Left arm lift, right arm relax. Gradually getting those arms a little bit higher each time. Oh, that feels so needed. Last one, left side lift. Excellent. Okay, so let's come back to that right foot forward and the left foot back. I'm going to bring my hands to my hips. The legs are straight and strong. We're going to move into pyramid pose. So you might feel wobbly here. You could widen out your base a little bit. Walk the right foot to the right. And I'm leading with my heart and just imagining that I have a beam of light shining from my heart that I want to then shine down at the floor. And, you know, it doesn't have to get all the way to the big toe, but that might be where I'm looking to go. And I'm just going to come in and out of this, kind of be a little bit dynamic at first. So I might like dip my beak like a mechanical bird, you know, kind of coming in and out of this pyramid shape. And for me, I'm always jutting my chin forward, and I have to constantly remind myself, tuck that chin a little bit, lengthen the back of the neck. All right, come on up. Let the arms relax. We'll step the left foot forward. Bring the right foot back at a little bit of an angle. Nice wide base. You got it, Roxanne. And actually, that's too long for pyramid. Hands are going to be on the hips. I'm just, you know, as cheesy as this sounds, I just turned on my heart light. And I'm going to shine that light down towards the earth. And then I'm inhaling, lifting. I can feel that space in my heart when I breathe. So just letting whatever is there be there in that heart space. Taking a few dips into our pyramid, in and out of pyramid. Keeping the chin tucked. You've got it, Betty Ann. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Beautiful. Tuck that chin. Come on up. And now we'll step the right foot forward and the left foot back. And this time, you've got the option to either keep the hands on the hips as before, or grab opposite forearm behind the back, or interlace the fingers and straighten the arms behind the back. There are a couple options there for you. Or you could just loosely grab the wrists behind the back, and that's a very nice option as well. So strengthen those legs and take a dip. Maybe this one you want to hold and just find maybe 3 breaths. 3 easy breaths. If your breath ever becomes ragged, come out of your pose. We're looking for ease along with steadiness. Very nice, Karen. Come on back up. Relax, release the arms. Step the left foot forward and the right foot back. Do the same thing you did with your arms except for the opposite one on top from whatever you did before. And we're taking that slow dip forward. There is no end game here. It's just the journey. I don't have an extreme end range pose in mind here. I'm just listening to my body. Maybe I can avoid rounding my back here. That would be great. For those of us with tight hamstrings, this is a great stretch. Beautiful, guys. Come on up. Let's take a little water break. You can walk it out. You can dance it out. And we are going to have a dance class soon. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. It's not going to be recorded. And it's going to be April 8th. That's in 2 Tuesdays from now. Send me your music requests. It'll be at 12 noon on Tuesday, April 8th. Our dance therapist is an amazing teacher, and she works with a bunch of different folks, but primarily cancer patients, and it's just joyful. It's really fun. Okay, so I'm coming back to my mat, and I'm going to take a little bit of a wider stance. We're going to gradually get into one of the most challenging poses, I think. My teacher calls triangle the puzzle of a lifetime. So triangle pose, Trikonasana. Got a little bit of a wider stance, not as wide as I could go with a warrior two. And I'm going to turn my right toes to the right. I'll angle my left foot in, and the hip also kind of goes with it a little bit. I'm going to bring my left hand onto my left hip. And my right arm is going to be like my little tea spout, my little spout of my teapot. And I'm just going to pour myself over my right knee and come back up. And typically what happens here is we want to bring the left shoulder forward, and we want to be kind of facing the leg. I want to try to bring my left shoulder back, right? So I'm on this sort of one little plane. Pour that tea out and come back up. You got it, Gordon. And where do you feel this? Feel it in the hips? A little bit. Yeah. All right, so the next time you come down, maybe you want to just let the right hand float down and touch somewhere on your right leg. That's good. I'm going to keep that left shoulder back. My legs are strong, and then I'm going to bring my left arm out to the left a little bit, maybe a little bit more, without losing that left shoulder, without that left shoulder crumbling forward. Right? That's good. And take the tips of the finger to the left shoulder if that would feel better. Eventually, I might be bringing my left arm up a little farther. Let's come out of it, because that is an intense shape. And I'm going to bring all 10 toes to face forward and just do a couple of hip circles here. Easy hip circles, lubricate the hip joints. So you can imagine the top of the femur bone is like an orange, and it sits in the cup of the pelvis like a coffee cup. So you can imagine the just some little lubrication, little synovial fluid, juices flowing around in the hips. And then we'll take our triangle on the other side. So left toes to the left. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. I'm going to angle my right foot in quite a bit. So I'm sassing out this right hip, right hand on the right hip. And I'm going to pour my imaginary teapot over my left leg. I might even look down at my left toes and see if I can kind of keep that right shoulder back, right? So I'm not pointing my heart light on my toes like I was before. My heart light is pointing forward. Very good. And then eventually I might just let that left hand rest somewhere on my left leg. Maybe the right arm reaches out to the right a little bit, right? Depending on how your shoulders are feeling, that right arm can reach a little higher. Beautiful, Judith. I love this slow and steady wins the race over there. And then I'll relax back up, all 10 toes to center. A little soft bend to both knees. I'm going to take a wide-legged forward fold with a flat back. So I'm just letting my hands slide down my legs. I'm keeping my chin tucked, and I'm only going as far as feels good to me without rounding my back. Again, soft bend to the knees, especially for those of us who have tight hamstrings. Now you might be able to get down a little farther, and that's fine too. Again, I'm trying to retain that flat back. If I'm able, I might let go of holding the head. Take a breath or two. And then let's see how slowly and gradually we can walk ourselves up from this wide-legged forward fold. Last one standing wins. Yeah, I love it. All right, then I'm bringing my feet together. Oh, I like that. Lifting the arms up, bringing the hands to heart center, sinking down into my chair if you have the feet together. Inhaling, lifting up, palms to heavens. Exhaling, right hip to the right, bending. Everything in between. Inhale, center. Exhale, left hip to the left. And then we can release those arms down and come back to the wide stance. Sorry, Karen, I was trying to come back to you, my friend. So with the wider stance, but not as wide as you would normally go in a warrior two. We're going to get into our warrior two very gradually. So right toes to the right, angle the left foot in a little bit, bend into the right knee a little bit. And what are the things I'm thinking about or concerned about here is, where is my heart pointed? It wants to kind of go with me to that right leg. So I want to keep my torso and my heart pointed towards you. And then I might take my hands to my shoulders and do a couple of little elbow circles here. Hi, Catherine. You just caught us in a gradual warrior two. Squeeze all the muscles along the bones in the hips and glutes. We want to put that extra pressure on the bones for bone strengthening. Okay, and then I'm going to release the hands down and switch sides. So left toes to the left, angle the right foot in, bend a little bit into that left knee, but not all the way. And where's my heart light pointing? To you, my friends. Going to bring my fingertips to my shoulders, and I'm not really leaning forward, I'm not really leaning back, I'm somewhere right between. Taking a few elbow circles here, if that would feel okay. You got it. Opening. Maybe you want to really squeeze those shoulder blades together in the back, and then we'll release out of that. And let's move towards warrior two again. Right toes to the right, angle that left foot in, bend into the right knee, maybe a little bit deeper. And where's my heart? Yes. Maybe I lift the arms out to the sides. And I'm going to actually do warrior two today with my palms facing up. And you can feel what that feels, what that does to your the openness across your chest. And maybe my gaze can turn over that right hand, and I can imagine my right hand being filled up with abundance, the abundance of being. And then I'm just going to relax my arms down and switch sides. Left toes to the left, Angle the right foot in a little bit. Sink into that left knee. Heart is facing forward. Wings are spread. Opening the cups of my palms to receive the abundance of this gift I've been given of living. Maybe I turn my gaze to that left hand. Big breath in, hug the muscles, and then release. Beautiful. Back to center, a little shorter stance. Another wide-legged forward fold. You guys are doing great. Like I said, lots of standing postures today. But don't worry, we will have time for a full Shavasana rest at the end. So coming down gradually into your wide-legged forward fold, hands sliding down the legs. We're not rounding the back. You got it, Marty. Maybe you want to let the head hang. Maybe you want to, what one of my teachers used to say, flubber the lips. And I always used to just, you know, chuckle to myself. I'm not doing that. But then when I did it one time, it felt really good. You know, just kind of like, whatever, get it out. Gradually, gradually, gradually coming back up. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. And I'm going to take another little water break. You got it. Or coffee or tea or whatever you have. All right, how are your shoulders doing, Anne? Feeling a little more open? Getting there, yeah. I'm so glad you were able to come to Gentle Yoga today. All right, we have one more standing pose. We're going to do our goddess pose. Gradual goddess. So the feet are open out to the sides, toes are pointed out to the sides a little bit. My stance is like a little bit wider than shoulder width, or maybe shoulder width. And I'm going to bring my hand to my belly, my hand to my low back, and just kind of tip that pelvis back a little bit and bend the knees a tiny bit. And then from here, I might kind of shift my hips around and kind of play with what that feels like to me. And I might even kind of bring my core, engage my core a little bit here. And then I'm releasing to straightened legs. I'm going to bring the arms down at the sides. I'm going to sink down into my knees again. Maybe the arms come up a little bit, bending the elbows a little bit, and then release. Inhale, sink down. Arms coming up a little bit more. Release. Maybe you want to widen your stance a tiny bit. Toes and knees pointed in the same direction. I'm sinking down. Maybe the arms come up. So I'm like a goalpost or cactus. Squeeze the shoulder blades. All of those muscles in the legs working. I'm going to release out of that. And last one. Sink into the mud of the earth. Pull your belly into the core. Big breath. Exhale, come on back up. Walk it out. Give yourself a hug. And then we're